Hi, my name is Anastasia Cameo Costello, and I am part of the Louisville Youth Group. To introduce you to why the Emotional Wellbeing Program is so essential, we wanted to share the direct impact it had on youth and young adults like myself. So, we wanted to share a poem I had written by myself while in the program with Jazzy J and Tala. It's called For the Love of a Human. For the love of a human, I would do extraordinary things. For the love of a human, I would bare my soul, express my love, travel the earth, share my life. For the love of a human, I would do horrible things. For the love of a human, I would bear impossible burdens, express my sorrow, move not an inch, share nothing. For the love of a human, I would do wondrous things. For the love of a human, I would bare my heart, express all emotion, travel with them, and share our love. For the love of a human, I wouldn't do anything except to love a human. I hadn't written poetry before being a part of the program with Jazzy J and Tala. And I chose this specifically because I think it represents the themes of what the Emotional Wellbeing Project is trying to achieve. Uh, Blind positivity, like obsessive love in the poem, is and can be as destructive as the depressive negativity. And that's not what the emotional well-being is trying to do, just blind positivity. It's about building a healthy relationship with yourself through self-expression, in turn building a better relationship with others, and through that creating a strong sense of belonging in your community and the community of others. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Robert Davidoff, who is your MC for the rest of the summit. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the We the Youth Our Emotional Wellbeing Summit. I'm Richard. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a 7th grade student at Mazik Middle School and part of the Justice League. To set the stage for the day, I'd like to invite Carter to give us an overview of the summit.
What all do we see?
Hello, my name is Carter Hatchett. My pronouns are they, them, and he, him. I work at the Louisville Youth Group as the Diversity and Equity Program Coordinator here. And so to just go over the summit agenda, we'll be doing an overview of what the Emotional Wellbeing Project was. We'll be delving into the research and data that the U of L team went into. We'll have our artists Tala, Jazzy, and Sean do a reflection of the projects that they did with the youth. And then we'll have a discussion between those artists and the youth participants of each of the groups. After that, we'll go into project insights from the partner organization leaders like myself and my program coordinator Allison, as well as uh, the other organizations that OEW worked with. And then we will be taking a dive into one of the activities from the Belonging Through Creative Arts activity book that was created through these projects. We will then go into a Q&A from people from Zoom and also Facebook Live. And then we will be able to premiere one of the projects that the Mazik Middle School youth worked on called A War on Us, It's All Bullying. Thank you.
Thank you for the overview, Carter. Now I'd like to welcome Josh and Hannah of Ideas X Lab to talk about our emotional well-being.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Drake. I serve as the Chief Creative Officer at Idols X Lab. And thank you for joining us today. Our emotional well being was a 2-year initiative that was organized by Idols X Lab, and it was designed to support the hope and belonging of young people ages 12 through 20. It's an art based collaboration, And we worked with the Louisville Youth Group, which is an LGBTQ plus organization for young people under 21, and two after school programs, the Justice League and Bates Kingdom Academy, both at Mazik Middle School. And Mazik Middle School is in the Smoketown area of Louisville. And the young people identified artists that they wanted to work with. And the artists were Jasmine Reed, Tala Wilson, and Sean Wade. And together with them and with our partner organizations and the artists, the young people were able to develop and do activities. And then they eventually, over time, keyed in on particular activities that they wanted to focus on. So for LYG, it was art and learning about self-expression and pride, and to do an identity fashion show. And at Mazik Middle School, they focused on an iMovie that we will be seeing a little bit later, with a focus on bullying. And they dealt with issues of racism, homophobia, sexism, cyberbullying, and mental health.
Thanks for starting to frame up the Our Emotional Wellbeing Project, Hannah. I am Josh Miller, Hannah's team member, he, him, his pronouns. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ideas X Lab. And Our Emotional Wellbeing launched at the beginning of 2019. And so what we're able to cover in the summit today is really a snapshot of a very collaborative, in-depth, adaptive process that we've worked on for almost 2 years, including through everything that we've witnessed with through 2020. And so I really want to reiterate how many different layers there were complexity, collaboration, adapting how we work together, how we learn, and incorporating and really seeking to understand the role that the young people could play in driving this project forward. So before we talk a little bit more about the process, I want to go ahead and thank the funders who made Our Emotional Wellbeing possible. We would not have been able to spend this amount of time, do the research, engage all of these young people and work with these partners without them. So thank you to Sutherland Foundation, Brown-Forman Corporation, the Kentucky Civic Engagement Table, Geens Foundation, Louisville Metro Government, and the Kentucky Foundation for Women for their support. It was truly transformative in allowing us to do this work. You are going to, like Hannah mentioned earlier, you're going to meet Jazzy J, Sean, and Tala shortly. They are the three artists that the young people got to interact with. They got to hear about their artistic process as part of a group of artists, and then selected the three of them as the ones that they wanted to collaborate with. And we thought that was really important as we delved into the process of how can arts and collaboration support hope, belonging, and youth leadership. And Hannah mentioned a variety of the activities that the young people and the artists and our team engaged in at Louisville Youth Group and at Mazik. And over the course of the process, we developed the iMovie, A War on Us, It's All Bullying. We're going to be premiering that today. And the young people at Louisville Youth Group came together through these arts activities to design the Merging the Rainbow fashion show. If you can look at the flyers and see the dates, these are right when COVID-19 really brought our collaboration to a halt. And so we had to pivot, we had to adapt, but we wanted to keep working and keep engaging. And we're trying to think about creative ways to do that. So some of that evolution meant that we were on Instagram Live, we were in Zoom, and then the young people from Mazik Middle School were then able to continue collaborating on the iMovie. Kyle Gordon, who is a videographer here in Louisville, provided a tremendous amount of mentorship and advisement on the project. So we're so thankful for his involvement and really glad that we were able to use physical distancing and different ways of connecting and staying together throughout the project over the past few months to then bring all of these learnings together. The artists, the partner organization leaders, the young people, and our team at Ideas X Lab, including Chris Radke, who has been really pivotal in this work as well. And you're going to hear from her in just a little bit, to create the Belonging Through Creative Arts activity book. And I mentioned the physical distancing, the iMovie, and you're going to hear from Zaxton, who's in the bottom left-hand corner, was not completely filmed when COVID-19 hit. And so we got creative and we were able to continue working and to get it done.
Like you just heard, throughout the Our Emotional Wellbeing collaboration, the University of Louisville team worked with us to understand its impact. Here to share some of the findings and research is Theo.
Hi, everyone. Next slide, please, Josh. I'm representing the U of L team today that worked on this project. We were with the research community formed through the CHOT program, which is the Center for Health Organization Transformation. It is a National Science Foundation funded center, and much of the work was done in collaboration with that particular center. In this research study, what we were really interested in finding out were how diverse youth conceptualize emotional well-being, both at an individual level as well as a community level, and then quantitatively and qualitatively evaluating those factors so we could better understand the impact that these arts-based programs by IDA's X-Lab was having on the youth in their communities. Next slide, please. We have a robust research team that included Dr. Asha Brown, Sonali Salunka, Nicole Ford, Ashley Van Schendel, Cameron Lister, and myself. I am one of the co-founders of IDA's X-Lab, so from a disclosure standpoint, I also want to raise that up. And then also we included in the research team, Josh, Hannah, and Chris. They were approved to the Institutional Review Board of the University of Louisville to participate as researchers on this project alongside the academics. And also research associate Van Schendel was a Vista during the course of this study. Next slide. So here are the big high-level findings. You can find more in the book. First of all, engagement with artists selected by Youth Village Agency. The students' selection, being able to select the artist that they wanted to work with, we found had a significant impact on the agency of the youth that were involved. So we recommend that as a best practice going forward with other arts-based programs working with youth. Arts-based co-creation initiatives positively impact hope and well-being. And by co-creation, what we mean is not just a prescriptive program that is brought in, but where the actual programming itself is designed in a co-creation model with the youth. So the artists, in other words, can serve as facilitators, and they bring their ideas to the table. And then in that process, working with the youth, they decide what the program is going to be. The third thing that was a significant finding is that it is the approach, perhaps more than the type of arts-based programming, that seems to be making the difference. And our key takeaways here are expressive narratives help to manage thoughts and feelings. Expressive narratives could be everything from collaging to songwriting to poetry writing, but it's that expressive narrative that has an impact on the emotional well-being of youth. Lack of being able to write an expressive narrative or express that also is an indicator of low emotional well-being. Second is connecting to personal agency. We know that personal agency, meaning that you have some control over your life, is an augmentation to traditional educational models, and it supports critical consciousness. In other words, what critical consciousness, what we mean by that is when students can see, name, and challenge oppression in the world that directly impacts them and act upon that, it has a positive effect on their emotional well-being. And then finally, interacting with others. That is both in terms of the quantity and quality. So number of interactions that the youth have with the artist and with their mentors matters, as does the quality of those. In that quality, one of the things that seems to be happening also is there is a difference between active and receptive arts making. Active arts making is where the youth are working with the artist and they're actively engaged in producing and making the art. Receptive would be when they just say, sit and listen, and or like you imagine when you attend a theater production, you're watching. That is a form of receptive. So that active seems to have more of an impact than receptive. And then the final finding that we feel is important to lift up today is that we believe that OEW could offer opportunities for public health to enhance its engagement and innovation, particularly with raising the well-being and the health of youth communities, which historically in the research are a hard to reach demographic. Next slide, please. Very quickly, I want to share with you some of the very high-level sample findings from the report. Quantitative findings. So these are statistically significant. Go back, please. Thank you. These are statistically significant findings from the data. So even through a pandemic, 60% of the youth who participated in OEW programming over multiple points of measurement saw an increase in both hope and belonging. When we talk about hope and belonging, what we mean by that from a research standpoint is hope is more than optimism. It's comprised of goals, pathways, and agency. So in other words, I have confidence in myself. That's hope. Belonging, what we're really asking are around kind of three questions of, are we connected? Are we safe? And do we share a future? We're all scanning for those kinds of belonging cues in any situation we go into, and youth are no different. So when we're talking about hope and belonging, we have scientifically quantified those in this study. So that's where those measurements come from. About a quarter of the youth identify as LGBTQIA+, and they did score significantly lower on hope and belonging compared to non-LGBTQIA over the course of the study. And then scores for hope and belonging also go down with age. It seems like the older you get in the data, your hope and belonging scores go down. So perhaps there could be an opportunity for looking specifically at 16 to 20-year-olds in the future and designing programming specifically for them. Next slide. And this is my final slide. Results of the qualitative findings. The use of art supports a safe space and a coping strategy, and young people value that. Expressing individuality through the arts-based programming also influences a youth participant's ability to celebrate all parts of their identity. In fact, no one of us are just one thing. We are all multidimensional in our identity, and so that expressing individuality may function and have a positive benefit across all of those different types. Expressing the level of awareness and injustice and oppression experienced by individuals and certain groups illuminates the role of OEW's intervention in the development of young people's socio-political development. This was one of the most important things that I want to lift up here that we were seeing, especially with what's going on in Louisville and the world right now. There is evidence in the research that the approach that OEW is taking and the specific types of arts activities and approaches and artists that are working with it are actually raising young people's ability to act socio-politically in the world. And that seems to be having a pro-social, pro-well-being benefit on their emotional well-being. Of course, there are differences between the different types of youth, but that is an overall finding that's very encouraging, because we know that those systems that youth are a part of are directly tied to their developmental process, especially for vulnerable youth who come from communities that have been historically oppressed. Thank you all for allowing me to share some of the research findings with you, and I look forward to the rest of the presentations today.
Thanks, Theo. Like Josh shared earlier, our two locations, Louisville Youth Group and Mazik Middle School, got to select artists to collaborate with. Can Jazzy J, Sean, and Tala please join me to talk about the project and to share some reflections?
Hello.
Hi. Hey, everybody. What's going on, Richard?
How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Good. It's good to see everybody.
Yes, it is, definitely.
I'll ask one question at a time. How did this type of collaboration impact your artistic processes?
Well, this collaboration, it pretty much just helped me, just expand my knowledge when it comes to creativity and having a visual understanding of the things that are going on in our communities, and having a different approach with just idealism and trying to figure out ways to kind of like implement change, in our communities and with youth as well, and with Black youth especially, just seeing the different type of demographics that that we all have, and kind of similarities as well. So it just helps me open up my mind and think about different art that I can collaborate with different people to implement change from, and just expanding that was pretty dope for me.
I would have to say it. The project for me as a writer helped me to understand how to use language. Of course, as a writer, that's one of our skills and or one of the things that we lean upon. And so I feel like Sean said, it expand my ability to use different types of language and to use language that's inclusive and to use language that's appropriate and that is clear and that is impactful when you're thinking about engaging with young people, and especially because we focused on emotional well-being, it was very important to use language that spoke to that and to use language that was transparent about what emotional well-being means, because it's different for everybody. So
for me, it helped with my process. So what I realized is that with working with youth, you cannot just wing things how I'm used to doing. In many situations, I am used to being able to just go into the space, present who I am, and just wing it and go off the fly. But with youth, you have to communicate different. You have to communicate more effectively, and then you also have to plan better. So for me, it has helped me to do that within my own art, where I am able to actually sit down, write exactly what it is that I am wanting to execute, how I want to execute it, give myself some time limits. At this time, you're going to do this. At this time, you're going to do that. At this time, you're going to do this, and still allow myself room for that flexibility to exist. So that's how it helped me in my own artistic process.
I feel that.
What role did the researcher on hope and belonging play in your participation? Has it influenced how you think about your broader artistic practice?
I'll take that first. I think so. So I am a person who doesn't like research, but I understand the importance of it. So I think that over time, if I'm not having to do the research part, I think that you can see over time how the things that you are bringing into the space. For example, when I opened up the floor at LYG for people to not sit, but sit or stand or be in a circle amongst each other and express some things that we feel, express some things that we have encountered. It was an activity that was just centered around really knowing who's in a space and who has also dealt with things that you've dealt with. But it was really a good space for people to express themselves. And even though it was not that many people, the conversations were really impactful. So I really appreciated knowing that over time this was happening. The youth did not know us. You all did not know us at first. So we had to build a connection with you all. And over time, you learn that once you open up this space of vulnerability, of transparency, of openness, and kindness, and love and care, that you'll see over time how people begin to trust you, begin to trust themselves, and then also feel more comfortable with expressing themselves.
That I would have to say, for me, just like Tala said, just like with the research, like not liking research, but I had to come in and well, we had to come in like dealing with young people at Justice League. We wanted to keep we wanted to like let them know that this was going to be a safe space, and that we were dealing with so many different personalities and different just people in general. And so for me, it was like I had to get the knowledge of like, what am I doing? Like, like just trying to figure out, because it was so new and it was fresh for me as a painter coming in. And I just wanted to like be there. I wanted to encourage. I wanted to have a better understanding of what I was doing, because I was coming in and I wanted to learn as well, and I wanted to teach as well. As well. And I was just there to give that let me just say this, like hope, like how Theo explains it, and what they were looking for in their research. I kind of look at hope and faith like kind of the same thing, because like you have to have the faith to want to have the faith to something's going to happen, or something's going to there's a change in that, or and just having hope. I just hope that for the better of your own well-being, or your peer or whatever. I'm just there to encourage you guys, and basically, let you know that you do belong here, and it doesn't matter how people look at you or whatever. You too can do the same thing that we are doing, or in your life in general, and just being there, and just letting you guys know that just to stay positive and believe in yourself as well.
Oh my goodness. A good what I learned a lot about asexuality and some of the spectrum of how that exists. Um, I also learned about a lot more about my own access and how it's important not to project what I am able to do onto other people. I'm sorry, Jesse, did we skip you on that last question?
I think we did.
No, you didn't. You talking about the research?
Yeah. Okay.
No, you didn't skip me. You good.
Okay. But yeah, I really had to really reflect with myself. I had to do some personal like healing and some personal reflection on, hey, how do you communicate and make people have this sense of hope and belonging if they don't have the access that you have to things? So as me with, even though I'm a youth in some people's eyes, or I'm younger in some people's eyes, I still had agency over the youth who were there. So that meant that while I needed to, my self-care looks like being away from certain people, I know that the youth in that space don't have that same access to just leave their parents home or remove themselves from a space because it doesn't serve them or it doesn't make them feel whole or feel safe. So as we're talking about hope and belonging, I had to make sure that I was being very critical of the way that I was trying to encourage the youth to have health and hope and belonging. Because I think that what Theo said earlier is very important. Hope is this sense of like confidence, like I believe that I can do this. I look forward to this. This is something that is futuristic for me. It's easy for someone who has privileges or who has access or agency to certain resources or certain things or knowledge to feel like they can do something or to even have hope. So I had to be very critical in the way that I communicated that to you all. So that was one of the things that I learned. And then of course about, like I said earlier, asexuality. We had a really good conversation that came out of the activity I talked about earlier, where we really spent like 20 minutes or so talking about asexuality and some of the myths behind it, and it really helped me be able to navigate certain conversations with my friends.
What did you learn from the young people during our emotional well-being?
Oh, wow. So many things. I learned that young people are just like regular people, like they have their own emotions. They are going through their own experiences. They have things that they feel about what they're experiencing. And so I think I didn't look at the young people like I used to, as an instructor or, as a leader. I didn't feel as though I have to, I guess I want to say like therapize. You know what I'm saying? Felt like I just be cool and myself and do writing, and they loved it and they enjoyed it. And what I thought was intimidating, be intimidated with them was not.
And what I've learned from the young people, I think Hannah, previously, like when I came in, I was going through my own like self-development and my own like kind of like taking care of my own well-being and figuring out like what I wanted to do, being an artist and wanting to work with young people as well. I think Hannah said it best, like in our previous, when we first started, was talking about like covering or something in that range, but she had mentioned that it's not so much as the young people are don't know anything, but it's the adults that really are not listening to what the young people are saying. And for me, they taught me to just really, I went in like wanting to know like what was the issues that we could talk about, what was the issues like in their own life, so they can kind of like get with us, because like, and when we look at it, it was you know, having the same shared experiences. So I looked at it as that. I didn't come in wanting to be, you know, nothing other than who I am. So I was like kind of like a, you know, awakening for me as well, because like I was on this journey of like self-development and self, you know, just approval and just trying to better my own well-being and stuff like that, so that I can, you know, be there for people that wanted the resources. So I had to look at myself as a resource as well. And you know, it taught me so much about myself. I go back, I can reflect back on the Chris's workshop. I forget the name of it, Unmix the Message. And we had wrote and it's in the playbook as well, which is a beautiful activity. And we wrote on the mirror. We went around the table and we just wrote different words and stuff, And then one, it just caught my eye. It was like, bloom, you're blooming, you're blossoming. And you know, like I went in like not as like this. I can't think of the word right now, but I went in, you know, with so many, not like I had walls up because like I didn't know, you know, like what at first. And I'm pretty sure Tala and Jazzy could like hear me on that one, because like it was kind of like Sean, you're here for something. You know, you're gonna, you know, put those like those walls down. Not necessarily walls, but it was like just reassuring that you know, that I was in the right place. This was the space for me, you know, to create, you know, what we needed to create, basically. So they just taught me to, you know, taught me so much about myself, and you know, just to keep going and keep growing, and you know, do your thing, you know. So it was very enlightenment just to hear those voices and to, you know, be around and engage with the young people and you guys as well as artists.
Yeah, I think
that was really dope. Like I think because I had not known, which I think I've seen how previous, but I didn't know Sean before we started this collaboration at all. And
Yeah.
I was the one rolling on your mirror to let you know. And it's hard to put it on your mirror. And because that's how I felt, the I got from you. I was like, it's like, you know, we all really know what to expect, but I think that there was some real deal bonding or I don't know. It's about embracing well. That's not about it's you know
Yeah.
I got that from you. So I learned from you all as well. As much as I learned from the kids and Josh and him to get to work with you
honey,
all.
because
And big dog there, so it was definitely get to see her on a different like to work with her, collaborate with her on this. So
I'm sorry, Jess, you went out at the end.
I'm gonna go ahead and add into what Jazzy was saying, but I think for me it was a big cultural shock. That's what it was. Like it was just a cultural shock. I am used to working with a certain demographic of people, ages, race, class, sexuality, gender. I have been used to that, so that was a challenge, but I think it was a well-needed challenge. And then also like learning to work with other adults was also a challenge for me. Like I said, I think for many of for all of the artists, me, Sean, and Jazzy, I think that we have been freelance for so long and having to only answer to ourselves and work with ourselves and worry about ourselves as it pertains to any art that we create, and that this was a collaboration. So it wasn't just, hey, I'm gonna do this and you do this and then but it was like a real deal collaboration. So you were having to be in constant communication with people. And I think that was a challenge and different for us, but I think that it was a challenge that we needed to happen because it was growth and it was learning, and it's going to help us in our future be better artists. So I think that's something that I also learned from the youth, is just how you all were collaborating with us and being open to us, and we just needed to give you all that same grace, and it was easy to do that with you all's help.
It's beautiful, Tala.
Thank you all for sharing your reflections. I really appreciate hearing about what you've learned and how you experienced this project. Now I'd like to invite the other students and young people who participated in our emotional well-being to join us for a discussion.
Thank you, Richard.
Can you please introduce yourselves with name, pronouns, age, and if you're from Louisville Youth Group or Mazik?
I guess I'll start. I'm Kadia. I'm 14. I'm a former student of Mazik. I'm now in 9th grade. I go to Central. I was a part of Justice League and Kingdom Academy.
Yes, Central and I graduated.
It's amazing.
My name is Katie Dykes. I am 14. I go by she, her, and I am currently in 8th grade at Music Middle School, and I was part of the Justice League there.
Yes,
my name is AJ Stewart. I go to Ballard. I'm in 9th grade now, but I did go to Mazik.
Wow.
Yeah.
My name is Sam. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm 15.
My name is Zaxton. I go by he, him. I'm 14, and I go to Mazik.
My name is Anastasia Costello. I aged out of the LYG program, and I am now 21, and I go by she, her, or they.
My name's Ashaya, they, them, 16, and I am a 11th grader at Brown School.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and dive into a question or two, and please answer if you want. My first question for the youth is, what was the most memorable thing that you did, whether you were working with Jazzy and myself or Sean and Jazzy?
I can go first if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
For myself, it was definitely realizing with Jazzy J that poetry is not as intimidating as I thought it was. It's basically just expressing yourself while pretty much disregarding the rules of language, which is just a fun exercise. But for the group, I think, for LYG specifically, I mean, it was the second or third time we were practicing for the fashion show, and just seeing all the runway people going down the runway, the models and whatnot, just laughing and having a wonderful time and smiling about like finally being able to express themselves in the clothing and the fashion that they wanted to express themselves in, and just seeing everyone smile and be like, I can do this in like the rest of my life. That was a wonderful experience.
Mine was probably when we were first coming up with what we wanted to do, because everybody was adding suggestions and they were all being taken really seriously. No one was told, oh, that just can't be done. We can't work something out like that. It was, we'll consider it. We'll see what all could be possible, and we'll definitely try to use the idea.
Anyone from Mazik want to maybe share your experience with Jazzy and Sean?
So one of my experiences was when we were drawing the storyboards. We had to take a cardboard sheet and we were drawing storyboards, and we were presenting them. It was very fun. Everyone was laughing, having a good time. We were presenting our storyboards. It was fun overall. We got to draw a lot. It was fun. We got to talk a lot too.
I agree with AJ. I really think that it was just all the being able to work on the story and coming up with ideas, and it was just fun to present them and bounce ideas off of each other.
One of my most memorable experiences through Justice League was one day I was having a very bad day, and then I came in and Jazzy J's energy just cheered me up. So for me, the program was really amazing, and I learned a lot more than I knew about social justices and the LGBTQ community, and the energy was just amazing. So that was one of the experiences I really remember.
One of mine favorite memories, when we did like just the collaborations and discussions and art projects in general, everything was calm. Everybody was like into it. And I really felt, and I think everybody else felt a sense of belonging. And just like the talking and listening to each other and understanding each other is really powerful. And I learned a lot from Jazzy and Sean and everybody else. And I will carry those memories and those thoughts with me for the rest of my life.
I remember a specific moment. We were talking about the acceptance of identities and all that such. And I remember leading a conversation with a couple of other youth about asexuality, I had mentioned before, and it made me realize that I do have that I can, despite everything, the stuttering and the hesitation, is leadership qualities by myself, and that when I do know something and I am given the space to talk, that I can lead quite a discussion. And I felt it say it'd be I said I felt as though it was like really affirming and very helpful to have the space open, even if it was completely about the project. It was very eye-opening about my potential and how I could be a leader to other people, and how I don't have to stay in the shadows about everything, and how I can use my knowledge to help other people understand things in a better schematic. But yeah, that was my, I guess, top moments.
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else before we go to the next question?
So I remember one day when we were deciding what to put on the t-shirts, it was really good because we were getting to help decide on the text on it in the group I was in. And I just felt like we were all being heard. And I like that because it helped me think more about how this is about what we think and what we want to do for the project, not just something being led by someone else.
I didn't know if Jazzy or Sean had a question.
Yeah, I got one. So for those that were with Mazik, why did you want to do the iMovie about bullying with your peers? Mazik and Justice League.
Personally, for me, out of all of the options I saw on the board, it was one of the best options, mainly because it's also just easier to watch something, and it can be easier to spread a movie than to spread any like other things, because it's like a video file and stuff. But also because I was one of the editors of the movie, and I knew how to edit, so it was one of the things that I could be very useful on, and we could actually do it properly.
One of the reasons for me is probably because a video seemed more fun than writing a poem to me. It seemed more interactive and it seemed more hands-on, and it seemed like we could use more people to do more things. Because in a video, we needed people to write scripts, we needed people to film, we needed people to come up with ideas for the storyboard, we needed people to do all sorts of things. And writing a poem, I feel like everybody might have had different ideas about the poem, different ideas, but in the video, all the ideas could be expressed. So that's why I feel like the video would be the better option.
So I wanted to do the iMovie because it made me really feel that with the movie, I can help spread awareness for what happens every day for so many people. Whereas like in a poem or just written down, I feel like it doesn't spread as much of a message because not as many people are going to see it, or there's not a good way to get out. Or just that more people want to watch something than maybe that they want to read.
For me, I think we chose the video because I kind of personally seen how bullying affected some people in Mazik. And I felt like that if we did a video, it would be way more easier to portray it, and it would be more realistic, and it would kind of target the audience the way we wanted it to, rather than somebody reading a poem, because I know for me personally, poems don't always hit home. And if there's any way you want me to understand the topic, it's not going to be through poem. So I feel like making the iMovie slash video kind of brought us all together, and it portrayed our point, and it really, yeah, it portrayed the message of what we were trying to say about bullying.
I also agree with what most of the others have said, and I think that an iMovie or a clip or film or video or whatever can really attract people's attention more than sometimes just like words on a piece of paper. And I think everybody was so excited about the fact that they get to express their opinions and thoughts and ideas through this, which really helped make it unique and a good film overall.
Okay, you guys, we have one more time for one more question, and this goes out to everyone. How did the art and our emotional well-being help you think about hope, belonging, and your own potential as a leader differently?
So for me, I actually was the one who did the graphics for the promotional materials, and I never would have volunteered to do something like that 6 months ago. But as we were going through the project and like I was starting to see my ideas being taken very seriously and used as something that was valued, and seeing things come to life really helped me to value um, my own skills a lot more and uh, feel comfortable offering up a product that I felt was like worthy of distributing to that many people.
Mhm.
So that was definitely a really interesting way for me to grow personally.
For me, I felt like this project kind of helped me grow because it showed me other people's struggles. Because personally, I'm not a member of the LGBTQ plus community. So yes, I had friends that were a member of the community, but I've never actually had to feel their struggles. And through this project, it kind of opened me up to everyday things that I wouldn't have to think about, or identity crisis that I didn't have. Like going out, I don't have to worry about how I present myself because I know that I'm a cis female. But for my other friends, it may be different for them. So I feel like this project helped me grow because it really gave me other people's outlooks, and it gave me an opportunity to see and feel what other people go through. And I feel like that's helped me because I'm more understanding of the struggles now. But when like about a year ago, I wouldn't have known anything about it. So I feel like this project was very helpful in the sense that now I have more empathy and I can feel what, well, not necessarily feel, but I can understand what other people have to go through.
I agree with that. I didn't. For me personally, I saw a bunch of my friends, including me, start connecting with other people more and expressing themselves more. And like a lot of my friends before they became a part of this program were very like shy and they wouldn't talk as much. And then after it, they just are now the only people I can hear talking whenever I talk to them.
Jackson, you helped out with a lot of that.
I also agree with Jackson. You know, I was beginning when I first walked through the door. I'm very shy, it takes me a while to like warm up to people. And I think I learned from a lot of the kids in that group that we all think, feel, and understand things the same way. And I really felt that connection with the others. And I really felt like my ideas and my, thoughts and stuff were really, again, heard and taken into consideration by others. And I just realized that, kind of emotional for me, but I really realized that everybody matters and that this whole project really made me think about things differently, and it really connected to like my personal life and others, and in surrounding areas and stuff like that. So yeah.
For myself and LYG, it was definitely what others have said before about like seeing my fellow group members like really come out of their shells. And especially for myself, like when I first joined the program, I was very shy. I didn't talk a lot. I dressed very modestly, and I didn't want to be like seen or anything like that. And then I've noticed with myself and also with a lot of different youths, being able to come into your own personality. And once you start expressing that, and it's not that scary, and you're actually in a supportive space in order to facilitate that personal growth and expression, and just feeling like yourself, and like that's okay. I've seen people like who didn't talk at all and just, were kind of observing the group and whatnot, start leading discussions like not even a month or two later. It's an amazing transformation I've seen in myself and with the other youths.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yes, thank y'all. Y'all so sweet. Y'all so sweet.
And first, I want to say congratulations to all the high schoolers. You guys did success on y'all journey. Stay positive, be y'all. Don't do your thing, okay?
Good job.
Do your thing.
Good job, y'all.
Yeah.
I love you.
Thanks everyone for sharing. Now I'd like to invite some of the adult leaders from Louisville Youth Group, Mazik, and Bates CDC to share some of their learnings from the project.
Hello, I'm speaking on behalf of Bates Kingdom Academy. I thought the program was awesome. Great fellowship, great partnership. The kids grew. The leaders were awesome. I just remember seeing how the kids and the leaders came together to complete a project. There was no disruption, no disrespect. It was just all love and just get this job done. So we're grateful to be a part of that. So thank you so much. That's about it.
Hi, Carrie Cross, Mazik Middle. I am moved by all of the words of the youth today, including the youth from the Louisville Youth Group, who I've only met a few of you on our Speed Museum trip. But I want to say that this project, it hugely affected me personally in my own emotional well-being, in addition to what some of the others, to witness the youth become leaders and become completely and solely responsible for crafting this project, working with the artists to allow themselves to be vulnerable and see themselves in a way that they may have never seen themselves before. And just to be an adult witness to that, as well as an educator, seeing that happen, it's impacted me greatly. Moving forward as an educator, I'm going to use that as a reference point to engage my students more, gather them more around the idea of using various mediums of art in my language arts class to express themselves, and probably calling on these three artists for advice from time to time. But I've been in tears on and off of this whole meeting. I'm just so very grateful to have been a tiny fraction of this project, to be witness to it all. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I do think the students were able to come out of the box, that I thought you saw a lot of insightful, taking leadership roles they wouldn't normally have taken, given that avenue of being artists. So I think it was a well thought out project, which I thought the kids as well as the artists learned from.
Thanks, Valerie. So hi, y'all. My name is Allison Solon, she, her, hers. I am I'm the program coordinator at Louisville Youth Group, or LYG. LYG is the primary LGBTQIA+ nonprofit community serving the LGBTQIA plus youth and young adults in the Kentuckiana area. And we really help to promote personal and community growth in a safe and brave space. The OEW impact really confirmed to me that a positive impact really does happen, even if it's not an immediate thing that I can see, because this was a great long project, and it was amazing to see with consistent validating and empowering environment, the growth that was able to be achieved. I will definitely utilize, as somebody that is not an artist, I will definitely utilize the activity book as a really, as an amazing, well-written tool that definitely allows a non-artist like me to bring high impact arts-based projects to the youth and young adults. The OEW project really impacted the way that I think about using art as a growth and change tool. As Theo in the U of L Arts, or U of L research said, that the percentage of LGBTQIA youth and young adults who had a sense of hope and well-being was lower among queer youth and young adults. And so to be able to have adult youth partnerships empowering everybody to make and share what's in their hearts, what's on their minds, especially when they're focused on the arts, is an amazing platform that will be a great source of lots of inspiration and educational opportunities here at Louisville Youth Group to come. So thank you for the opportunity. Carter, I'd like to introduce my co-LYG partner in crime. Carter, take it away.
So I'm Carter, they, them. I introduced myself a bit earlier, but I've been working with LYG now for a little over a year and a half, and being here for predominantly most of the OEW project has really, I think, shaped my experience here at LYG in a great way. It really helped me think deeper and more critically about how I approach youth in art-based programs and just ways to engage with them. And it really helped me see, and a lot of the youth have talked about, like, the power that they felt and empowerment in general that they felt from working with these artists and working with us, and being able to just express themselves however they see fit. And it's really helped me grow in being flexible and adaptive in like planning and executing the programs. I will also say that I really look forward to continuing to utilize activities from the book because it really takes the time to break down each activity to a T. It makes it very easy and manageable for someone like myself or a teacher to be able to apply this in their classroom and with, you know, any age range of youth. And then I would also say that OEW really expanded the way that I even consider what art is or who an artist is, because I definitely didn't consider myself an artist prior to this. And it's really let me see that anyone can be an artist and that there's art in our lives every day. And it's been able to show me that I can showcase my art and showcase my abilities in multiple ways, that just that I can really tell that everyone involved has felt very empowered to continue the work that we've started.
It's hard to believe how many different arts activities we were able to do together, and that we even finished the iMovie after COVID-19 hit. I hope you all enjoy the activity book that includes a lot of what we did. Hannah is going to give you an overview of the Belonging Through Creative Arts activity book and where you can go to download a copy.
Thank you, Richard. So you can go to idosxlab.com/activity book, and you fill out a very short form with your name and email, and it will be a PDF that will be sent directly to your email, and you can download the activity book. The activity book, it's a year and a half worth of learnings and activities. A lot of heart and soul has gone into this activity book. Many of the lessons, because we did work with JCPS, some of the lessons coincide with what some of the young people will need to do for their backpack. And so those activities actually do have a symbol near them where you can see which particular activities would coincide with what they will be doing for their backpack for success for JCPS. There are activities on poetry, writing, visual art. There are group activities that we included in section 1. It's like a series of activities that you may just do one time. And section 2 of the activity book is a set of activities that will build upon each other from session to session. But if you are an educator, a teacher, an artist, a creative, just like someone said how their view of artists expanded, please sign up and download this book. You will certainly thank yourself that it's really packed with so much information, so many different activities. And what I enjoyed seeing with these activities is watching the young people do them. And the activities are designed to increase hope and their sense of belonging, and to watch the young people as they did the activities become the very thing. So to watch them connect, to watch them connect with each other, to watch young people who typically would not sat together at Mazik or walked the same halls or be in the same classrooms, to see them come together and create something that I think is phenomenal. I know that you will certainly appreciate all of the hard work that has gone into this book, and each lesson has step-by-step like sections. It walks you through the instructions. They're very well explained, well thought out, and we tried to make it so that somebody could download it and be able to go through the activities with young people. So please log on. It's idosxlab.com/activity book. Fill out a short form with your information, and it will be right in your email. Thank you so much.
I hope you all take a minute to go download the activity book and let us know how you use it. Josh is going to join me to facilitate a short Q&A before the premiere of the iMovie.
Thanks, Richard. And I hope all of you really enjoy getting to hear from the young people, the youth participants, the artists, our collaborators from Louisville Youth Group, from Mazik Middle School, Bates Kingdom Academy, and the Justice League. It has really been a tremendous collaboration, and we have poured all of that passion and that excitement into the activity book. So I really hope that you check that out. The full research brief is also in the activity book. And one of the great learnings that we've seen is both the role that something like this activity book, like these collaborations, can have in school, after school, also in the setting like Louisville Youth Group, which is more on the nights and weekends. And so it's a really dynamic way to engage young people through the arts. For those in the webinar, you can add questions in the Q&A section. If you're watching on Facebook, you can add it in the comments. We are a few minutes behind schedule because we wanted to continue to hear from all of the different participants. So we're gonna keep moving forward. There was one voice that I did want to make sure that we included in today's discussion, because Serenity, who was one of the participants in the program, was not able to join us for the conversation. And so we have just a little slide here. This is Serenity. Serenity is part of the Bates Bates Kingdom Academy, and was one of the students who really stepped up to help document the process. So she took the camera, was documenting behind the scenes of making the iMovie, of the different activities, and said that she really hoped that the iMovie would help to change people's minds before they start bullying people. And that one of the things that she really took away from the engagement was collaboration. So we're sorry that Serenity couldn't join us today, but we were so thrilled and honored to be able to work with her as part of this collaboration, and wanted to make sure she was part of the summit too. So we are going to keep moving. And Richard, if you'd like to start our next section, I will get our slides teed up.
We can't wait to share the iMovie, A War on Us, It's All Bullying, with you that we made at Mazik through our emotional well-being. I'd like to invite Chris to tell you more about the process.
Hi, and thank you, Richard. I'm Chris Radke, part of Ideas X Lab, she, her, hers. I'm excited to tell you about this big project that was completed during the past school year by the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students at Mazik Middle School in Smoketown, in the Smoketown neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. So the students were gathered from both Bates Kingdom Academy and also the Justice League, and they met after school once a week for over 7 months. They were mentored by the two artists that you've already met, Jazzy Reed and Sean Wade. And Jazzy and Sean encouraged the students to create a story of their own, to think about something that really mattered to them and something they thought where they could make a difference. And so the students decided to collaborate as an entire group and create an iMovie about bullying. Working with the students and the artists, they developed the plot, they drew storyboards, they wrote the scripts, the students acted, directed, filmed, and edited the entire movie. And the steps they followed are all outlined in the section of the activity book called Our Voice, Our Story. And as Hannah had mentioned a few minutes ago, you can download that and that's all outlined in there. So there was a whirlwind of activity once the filming began, and it took place all over the school, in the hallways, in the classrooms, in the cafeteria, somewhere in front of the school. It was a real school-wide activity for this group. And from start to finish, the project received full support from both the administration and from the staff. And we are so grateful for that and want to extend them our thanks. And I'd like to take a moment to introduce the principal of Mazik Middle School, to whom we are very grateful, Dr. Rhonda George.
My name is Rhonda George, and I am the principal of Mazik Middle School. Justice, it's a word that we've heard quite a lot in the recent days, and it means something different to every person. But one thing we can be assured is that justice is for everyone. Justice provides us an opportunity to live in a safe and civil environment that respects and regards our humanity and celebrates our differences and ensures that we are all collectively engaged in an environment where we can feel comfortable about who we are, what we do, and what we represent. I'm so thankful for the students of Mazik Middle School, the Ideas Excel Lab, Bates Kingdom Academy, and all of our partners who've been working with us to promote justice in our school amongst our students. The Justice League has done phenomenal work this year. I'd like to thank our partners and everyone who has made this possible. We are thankful that we have students who are advocates in our community and who understand the importance of being heard and being heard in the most productive and positive ways possible.
Thank you, Dr. George. At the project start, the students struggled to come up with a title for the film. And throughout many discussions, they shared stories about the different kinds of biases they had experienced themselves. And so they decided to divide up the film into 5 separate vignettes. The first was cyberbullying, and then racism, mental health stigma, sexism, and LGBTQIA bias. And suddenly, when they all began to really think about it and talk about it and the different biases they experienced, they had a major aha moment when they realized it's all bullying. And that idea was immediately followed by a lively discussion where they quickly coined the term "a war on us," which is a play on the word awareness. And so "A War on Us, It's All Bullying" became the title of the film. And the film's finale was to be a Rock the Runway style fashion show, which is also outlined in the activity book. The students designed t-shirts, and the plan was to model them on the runway with a call to action, be the difference, speak up about bullying. And then, of course, as we all know, in March, COVID hit and the school building was closed. The cyberbullying vignette had not been filmed. The fashion show had not yet been filmed. The movie was incomplete, and it felt like the whole project was coming to a screeching halt. But true to form, this group rallied, and 2 students rewrote the cyberbullying segment so that it could be filmed virtually. And then nearly the entire group showed up in person, one at a time, with their masks on, in their t-shirts, in an incredibly rainy, huge rainstorm of a day, in front of their school or in front of their house. And we were able to film a new version of the fashion show and that final vignette to complete the film, which is being premiered here in just a moment. I want to do a shout out about one person in particular. Nearly a year ago, at the beginning of this project, while the scripts were still being written, one 7th grade student came forward and volunteered to film the iMovie and then also do the lion's share of the directing. And then in March, after the school building was closed, he worked remotely over a period of 9 weeks to edit the entire film. So if in 20 years we see his name in the credits of major films, I will not be surprised. Let me introduce you to Zaxton Rothberg. Hi, Zaxton, can you tell us a little bit about why you think the group chose bullying as a topic for the iMovie and why you think that's important?
Well, when we chose the iMovie, we knew we had to do something important and relatable to most people. So we decided to go with bullying because around my age group, the middle school and high school age group, the most common problem kids face was bullying. So we decided to make the project about bullying. And also because all of those videos we see where the adults cover bullying, they always miss the portions that we have in our generation now, such as cyberbullying. So we were like, what if instead of teaching people how to stop it, we just show them how it affects people and like just what happens to them and just show real scenes that represent real bullying. And so we decided to just make the movie about bullying.
Great, thank you. And how do you think your experience as the director and editor of the iMovie impacted you as a person?
It impacted me as a way as I got to meet a lot of new people and connect with them that I never thought I'd meet before. And I also just deepened my connection with people I already met before. It also bettered my understanding of the topic simply because I didn't have that much prior experience and I got to work with people who had firsthand experience. And it was just a great time. We had fun filming, coming up with ideas, and we had a lot of just great moments. And we worked very hard on this project, almost 7 months in the classroom and a couple more months outside of the classroom. And it all came together and now we're here. So without further ado, I would like to show you guys the iMovie we've been working on for so long.
It's so great to see the iMovie we spent so much time working on out in the world. I'd like to invite Josh back on screen to help us wrap up the summit.
Congratulations, first off, to the Mazik students from Justice League and Bates Kingdom Academy. It's so wonderful to see all of your hard work pay off into A War on Us, It's All Bullying, the iMovie. For those who are watching and tuning in, at the end of our session, which we're going to wrap up in a minute, we're going to go ahead and watch the bloopers. But you can check out the video, the bloopers, and a director's interview between Jazzy J and Zaxton by going to ideasxlab.com/OEW. So the video's there. It's also on YouTube. So you can share it out for those who you think can be educated and also help to spread the word around bullying. Don't forget that you can go to ideasxlab.com/activitybook to download a free copy of the PDF. You can share that out if you're someone within JCPS and you think that it can align with the Backpack for Success skills. We'd love to hear from you or anyone else across the nation about how you're using the activity book, the ways that you're using art to impact hope, belonging, and support youth leadership with community members. We want to thank Richard for being our MC today. He volunteered and did such a tremendous job. And of course, Sam, who did the tremendous illustrations of the young people on the slides that you've gotten to see today and that are also included in the activity book. We want to thank again Louisville Youth Group, the Justice League and Carrie Cross, and Bates CDC, Valerie and Nisham for being tremendous partners in this project. We know that there was a lot of adaptation and working together and collaborating and coordinating that had to be done, and we want to thank you for that. Our emotional well-being artists, Tala, Jazzy J, and Sean were such tremendous collaborators and really stepped in ready to learn, ready to work with the young people, to incorporate their ideas, and to try to be as creative and dynamic as possible. So we're thrilled to have been able to work with them and also appreciate the work of the University of Louisville School of Public Health team through the Center for Creative Place, Healing, and CHOP for working with us to do the research, to understand the types of impact, how this fits within the field in terms of the research and how we can continue to add to that. So thank you to them as well. And of course, again, to our funders for our emotional well-being. So I'd love to invite back in a first round to turn on their videos, the young people from the iMovie at Mazik. If you want to take a virtual bow really quickly, and then we will invite everyone on to just wave a goodbye virtually before we close out our time and watch the bloopers. And anybody else that would like to join, go ahead and come on. You can wave. If you want to say a final comment about the summit or the project, you're welcome to. But we're really appreciative for everybody that tuned in and contributed, and can't wait to see the activity book out in the world and utilized, building on so many months of work and collaboration, which has been so inspiring.
I just wanted to say a few things. I wanted to say, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to be able to be a part of a project and express myself through arts, and opportunity to get to know my peers that were like 6th and 7th graders before I got to move on, so that I still have some connection to Mazik. And I would also like to say, I don't know, that's all I really wanted to say was thank you for the experiences.
Thanks to you too. We were working with you all has been transformative. I know for me, our team, Hannah and Chris and Ashley when she was with us, and now Kara, have all learned so much. So thank you too. All right, well, anybody else want to say a final word?
I wish you all nothing but peace, love, and joy as you move forward in your lives. Hang tight to the things that we discussed. Keep the lane open for creative expression. Never stop creating. Never stop expressing yourself. Never stop believing in yourself. Know that you are important. You matter. I'm getting emotional watching you all. It was just a pleasure, and thank y'all for such kind words that you had to say about me. And just thank you for being beautiful, beautiful people and beautiful children.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to add something as well. I wanted to say thank you all. I too got emotional and was just really just heartfelt. It felt really good to be affirmed in those ways, and then also to know that we impacted you all in some way, and then also that you all did the same for us. I do not want this Zoom to be the last time that you all make connections with us. Myself, Jazzy, and Sean all do amazing things around the city. We're always in different spaces, so please do not hesitate to utilize this now resource that you have and this now network that you have created. love to get connected with some of the youth from Mazik and Kingdom Academy, from the Justice League, and I think that it would be good for the people at LYG to get connected with Sean. Know that we all have so many amazing things that we bring to the table, and to not stop here. So thank you so much.
Yes, and I want to add on something too. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Adios X Lab for giving me the opportunity. You know, when I felt like I was, you know, just in an inadequate like place or given self-doubt, and you know that I belong there as well. I, you know, was able to enter a space and be myself and to create from that, using my artistic ability to help out and make an impact in my community as well, and to the youth. I want to really say congratulations, like I mentioned earlier, to all of the graduates. I want you all to stay positive in your own in who you are. Be yourself. Reach out to people that you feel comfortable reaching out with. Like Tyler said, if it's us, the artists, you know, just do y'all thing. I don't want to get too emotional. I don't, you know, being emotional. Just looking back on the iMovie, it was just very, it was just very, it was emotional. It was just great to see what we all created, what you all did. You know, like your age doesn't matter. None of that matters. What you have inside your mind, what you can cultivate into this world is what, you know, we need to, that's what we need. That's what, you know, that's what you're here to do, is to create, you know, such things, and how you do it, and what it will be to, you know, what is the call, what is the message in that. And yes, just continue being y'all, and everybody from LYG, y'all so beautiful. I love the Leaders Quarter. Yes, babe. Yes, yes. Allison, honey, all of you guys. Thank you, Hannah, for just inspiring me. Like a mother, being in that realm of creativity and planning, and Jazzy and Tala, such beautiful women. Doing amazing things in our community. I appreciate all of you, and just taking the time out to hear who I am, to see who I am, to believe in me, and vice versa. And I love all you guys, and thank you for everything.
Love y'all.
And I gotta go, y'all. I'm sorry, but it was beautiful to connect with you all, and love seeing what we may happen today.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Bye, Sean. Love you.
Alrighty, love y'all. Much success. Love you all.
All right. Well, before we head into the bloopers, I think Richard is going to lead us in one final shout out. If everybody wants to take themselves off mute, and then we will head towards the bloopers.
Our emotional well-being.
You had to give us a countdown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I sent it privately. Let's do that again.
Count down, Richard.
1, 2, 3. Our
emotional well-being. Okay.
Sorry, I messed it up.
You didn't mess it up. You're precious.
It was really well done. You did a great
Richard,
job.
you were a great MC. You did a fantastic job.
Great job.
Excellent, excellent job. When you stepped up and said, I'll do it, I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We knew we were in good hands.
Yeah.
So for the record, I knew all along when you all had asked me originally about Richard being the MC, I knew all along that he would be the perfect go-to kid. He has that leadership quality, and he can command an audience, and he did such an amazing job.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take us over to play out the bloopers, and that's going to wrap up our summit. For anybody that tuned in, thank you again, and let us know if you use the activity book, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out through our contact page on the website.